Hello, my name's Kev Partner from makingyourown.candles.co.uk, where you'll find the UK's biggest range of candle making kits and equipment. In this video I'm going to show you how to make flower tart candles using these metal moulds. As you'll see when they're finished, these candles are obviously flower shaped. They can be made with or without a wick. If you make them without a wick, you've essentially got a candle melt. This is a great way of very easily making lots of candles at a time. We're going to make 5 at a time, but you could easily double all the quantities and make 10 at a time or whatever. You'll find all the materials, whether you want to buy them separately or as a kit, at makingyourown.candles.co.uk. So what do we need? We need 5 metal moulds, 90 grams of wax. In this case we're using the paraffin pillar blend, because that gives us a nice vibrant colour. We need 5 wick and tab assemblies. In this case we're using 1 gram of dye to give it a nice strawberry type colour. And optionally we need scent, candle making scent. We're going to put some in. In this case 5 millilitres is plenty for 90 grams of wax. Also, in terms of equipment, the main piece of equipment you need is some way of melting the wax. And there are a couple of ways of doing this. They all sort of revolve around the principle of putting the wax into a container that itself sits within a bath of water, just as you would melt chocolate, for example. For small quantities, I like to use one of these, which is called a porringer set. Mainly used actually for making sauces and melting chocolate, which is just one smaller saucepan with a bell-shaped bottom in water. So water goes into the bottom one, it's put on heat, and the wax goes in the top. But you can also just as effectively use a couple of cheap saucepans like this. Have a larger saucepan at the bottom, which you a third fill with water, and then in the top one you have a smaller saucepan that sits within that, and it's into there that you put the wax. So that's what we're going to do now. I have my 90 grams. We'll just put straight in there, and I'll put it back on the heat. So we just have to wait now for that to fully melt, and we'll be back in a minute. Okay, the wax is now melted. So the next thing to do is to add the dye, which I've cut into several pieces to make it easier or quicker to melt. You don't need to worry particularly about the temperature you're pouring at. As long as it's fully liquid, this wax will work fine for this purpose. Nearly there. The last thing we're going to do is add the scent. This you should do as the last thing, because the scent is relatively volatile. As soon as you put it in the wax, you'll smell it. But you don't want all of that scent to be released into the air. You want it to be locked in the candle so that it'll be released when it burns. There we go. Now, there's 30 mils in here. So we're looking at, that's about 5 mils. Yeah, that smells nice. Once that's done, you now need to put the moulds where they can be left to completely set, which doesn't take very long, but you don't want to disturb them. And then pour the wax into each one. if you've weighed your wax properly, it should go pretty well. It should all be full. There we go. Obviously, to guard against any spills, I've put this on an old oven tray. Okay, they're now done. The last thing to do is to drop one of these pre-made wick and tab assemblies into the bottom of each one centrally. And that's that done. All you need to do now is allow those to set, which will take about an hour or so to set fully. And then we're done. We can pop them out and enjoy our candles. The flower tart candles have now fully set. You can put them in the fridge to speed this up. There's no problem with that. And they should just simply come straight out. So you should just be able to pull them and they'll come out just like that. If you've slightly overfilled them, you might find that they grip the edge a little bit. In that case, just flex the mould and you can feel it release, and then they'll just come out. Some of them just fall out. There we go. The moulds are then clean and ready to use again. So that's how you make these lovely little flower tart candles. You'll find kits and equipment at makingyourown.candles.co.uk, where you'll also find a full range of candle making kits of all sorts. Thanks for watching this video.